You're watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. Today I have a review of this Cattleman's Cutlery Sagebrush Stockman in Zebrawood. Take a look at the box. Farm, friends, and family. This is model number CC0001ZW. And we'll look at the warranty on the back there. Now, again, this comes from abktinc.com, which is the same people that bring you roper knives. I did a review earlier of two sow belly Stockmans from Roper, and I'll link it up here if you would like to check those out. But same company, just different brand. This is the Cattleman's Cutlery Sagebrush Stockman with Zebrawood handles, stainless steel bolsters and pins, stainless steel springs and liners. So they've just given it an entire stainless steel treatment here. And then you've got this Zebrawood handle with this CC logo for Cattleman's Cutlery on the shield there. Now these are purported to be mirror finished bolsters. I would argue that they're not. They almost look like a satin finish. There's the back. Pins are well laid. There's just a slight wobble there. I can feel just the transition slightly to that bolster, but the rest of them seem to be smooth. Now this has the typical array of blades for a Stockman. This first front blade is a nice Turkish blade. Measures to the tang about 2 7/8 inches, but with the cutting edge 2.5. There's a look at the tang stamp you have there. It just says, well, actually it's a blade edge. It says, well, not blade, but tang edge of Cattleman's Cutlery. Then on the back, you've got the model number and PRC for People's Republic of China. It has a nice nail nicks on it, nice deep nail nicks. You can really get in there to pull. It's got just your flat grind there with the edge. And these aren't particularly sharp. I felt like I really needed to strop this knife. Have difficulty cutting even like some card stock. Part of that is due to the fact that these blades are pretty thick stock, which I like. I like a sturdy blade and a smaller Stockman, but it does make it a bit harder to do some slicing with a thicker blade. Get some blade drag. And one thing I complained about the Roper knives was the satin finish on these blades. I took a polish to this side of the blade. I'm not sure you'll be able to tell, and then I left the other side unpolished. But I found that the material when they do this satin finish seems a little rough. Like you can kind of catch your finger on that as you drag your nail across it. You can feel all the grooving in it, and I feel like with the little polishing, it makes the blade a lot more appealing. Now I did this side, and I can't do that with my finger. I can't feel any grooving. So I sort of feel like this knife needs a little more finishing, and it's not something you can't do yourself. So it's kind of nice to have like the bones of the knife, and then kind of take it that extra step, because you're only paying. Well, this is listed for $14 on Chicago Knife Works, but I actually made an offer on eBay and got this knife $13 shipped. So you can have it, a little cheaper probably if you shop around a little bit. But there you have the clip blade. Again, the handle is 3.5 inches, and the cutting edge of the blade is 2.5 inches. It does have half stops that are a little sloppy, just kind of like the Roper sow bellies were. You got this little sort of sloppy half stops. Now here's a look at the spey blade. It's a little thinner bodied than what you're going to see on a sow belly, because it's got the thinner body on it, obviously. But it's pretty similar to the medium Stockmans by Rough Rider. Again, the finish on this I think can be improved on. I did not polish this blade. I only polished the one side of that clip blade that I showed you. The side with the Cattleman's Cutlery etch at the tang. And again, this has a kind of a sloppy half stop there with a nice, probably about a 6 pull. And again, you get that nice downward slope for a good hold. And I just think, you can polish these up and make them just a little better. They just are a little gritty from along that satin finish. They finish it one direction, and it creates a little bit of a grain there. It can be kind of polished up, improved on a little bit. And I might go back and do that with my sow bellies, because I'm betting it's the same thing. There's your sheepsfoot, and neither of these secondary blades have any kind of stamps on them or any kind of writing, so just the blade itself. But I do like that these have a little more substantial width to them than the sow bellies, or excuse me, the Rough Riders Stockmans in the same size. So for that reason, I kind of shy away from the Rough Rider Stockmans when they aren't the large size ones. Now you'll see that the blades stuck in these have a better design. These two secondary blades tuck in there a lot better. I don't have any problem with blade rub at all on this knife, so that's a plus for me. I kind of getting irritated with Rough Riders medium Stockmans. They always seem to want to rub, and the blades are so thin when you go to push the nail nick in, they just kind of flex and create a problem. So for that reason, I'm kind of getting away from the Rough Rider medium Stockmans and looking at other brands. But I do like this knife quite a bit. I just feel like it needs a little more finishing. So I thought I would do is kind of just show you, in 5 minutes what you can do to improve on this knife. So I'm just going to do a little polishing right here on spot. I've got some flits that I'll use on the bolsters, and then I'll just kind of show you a front and back comparison of the improvement that can be made. I'm just going to use my finger here and just put a little tiny bit on each of these bolsters, a little bit there on the shield, and show you what we can do to bring this to life. Now, these bolsters were supposed to be mirror finished. Don't really appear that way to me. So just see what we can do in just a couple of minutes here of polishing. We're going to hit those pins, going to hit the bolster, we're going to hit the shield. And normally I would hand polish, but if I'm trying to be really fast and just for the sake of time, I'm going to use the little tool I have here set up on my Dremel, and I'm going to try to keep the volume down to a minimum. So I might mute this a little bit if it's too loud. But here we go. Just going to hit this a little bit. Just going to be about 15-20 seconds worth of polishing here. Kind of hit the pins and the bolster just on this one side. Kind of do a before and after. Okay, so as you see, just a little quick polish. I'm not doing anything super major. Then we're just going to buff that out, looking for taking all the black off of there for the polish. Just continually kind of watch what I'm pulling off and see if it's still coming up, and just give it a nice buffing there. Could have done a better job on that. I can see problems with where I buffed it already, but not a huge deal. Like I said, I was only just going to try to kind of show you what can be done to bring this knife out to what I would consider a more mirror finish on the bolsters there. Now, this one got a little better treatment than that one, but you can see right away, just even with a couple of minutes worth of buffing, that makes considerable difference. There you go. So there's the front side. Do the pins as well. Okay, now we compare that to the back. Let's get a good look at the front there. Alright, and then here's the back. See how much duller that is. So just in that short amount of time, I mean, you can really bring this knife out to make it look a lot better. Now, because this is a wood handle, so another thing I like to do is just put a touch of this Howard's feeding wax on there. I'm just going to put a little dab on a towel. Takes very, very little to do the job. That's probably 12 times as much as I need right there, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to take one little corner of that, try to dab that up a little bit. There we go. Get a little less on there. And I'll just treat it. I just want this on the wood. All we're asking to do is to have that wood absorb. We're just feeding the wood some moisture. There you go. Feeding the wood some moisture with this Howard's wax, feeding wax. And what I would ideally do is just kind of leave that on there for an hour or two. Just let it sit there, and then do the other side. But just for the purposes of time here, I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off, and you can compare it to the other side. And it's nice and wax gloss finish now. Let's go ahead and wipe that down. But there you have that side now, just after what, like 30 seconds of letting it soak. And then you can see the other side quite a bit duller. So just a few things you can do to improve on these Cattleman cutlery knives. Again, like I said, I'm just not a huge fan of the way that they finish the blades on these ropers and Cattleman cutlery knives. So they can be improved on. They're still really good budget value knife. And, you know, I just feel like they need work all the way around. They need their blades sharpened. They need their bolsters polished, you know. And if they've got the wood handle, why not throw a little conditioner on there and make it look a little better. But that's really all I've got for you for this knife. Feel like it's a really good value at $13. I really like the way the blades tuck in there. You really don't have to worry about blade rub with these knives like you do the Rough Riders. They're a little thicker stock, so they probably won't slice quite as well. But they're not as flimsy, the blades, and I feel like you can do more rugged work with these knives. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the little extra content that I threw in there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below, and ring that bell. I hope you guys have a good day, and take care.